The question number 101, any C program. We have four options. The first one is must contain at least one function. The second one is need not contain any function. The third option is needs a input data, and the fourth option is must contain two functions only. A larger C program. This is the C program. Okay, a larger C program is divided into sub-programs. Okay, a large C program is divided into sub-programs. Each sub-program is called as the function. Each sub-program is called as the function. Okay, this is also one sub-program. This is called as the function. This is also one function. Okay, a larger C program can be divided into sub-programs. Each sub-program is called as the function. So a C program contains many functions, but a program execution always starts from the main function only. Okay, so consider here the fourth option, that is must contain two functions only. Any C program contains more than two functions. Okay, it contains more functions. So this is the wrong option. Then coming to second option, need not contain any function. A C program at least contain one function, that is a main function. Okay, because a program execution always starts from main function only. So the second option is also a wrong option. Coming to third option, needs a input data. Without needing a input data, we can execute the program. Consider here a void main. Okay, this is a printf function which is used to print the statement or the string or the characters. Okay, if you write hello, okay, then without any need of input data, we can execute the message, that is hello. So the third option is also the wrong option. Okay, we have only one option, that is it must contain the at least one function. This is the right option. Any C program must contain at least one function, that is a main function. So for question number 101, the first option is the right option. The question number 102, if the two strings are identical, then strcmp function return. We have four options: -1, 1, 0 and null. The strcmp, this is the function which compares two strings character by character and returns any one of these values, that is -1, 0 and 1. Okay, the syntax for strcmp function is strcmp, then string 1 comma string 2. Okay, this is the syntax of strcmp function. If string 1 is equal to string 2, then it returns 0 value. Okay, similarly, if string 1 is less than string 2, then it returns -1. If string 1 is greater than string 2, then it returns value 1. Okay, the strcmp, this is the function which compares two strings character by character and returns any one of these values. For example, consider strcmp AC, okay, and another string is AD. Okay, what happens here is it will compares character by character. Here the first character, string 1 character is A, its ASCII value is 97. The second string first character is also A, its ASCII value is 97. Okay, both ASCII values are same, so it compares next character. Okay, next character. The first string has the next character is C. The second string has the next character is D. For C, the ASCII value is 99. For D, its ASCII value is 100. Okay, so its ASCII value becomes 99, its ASCII value becomes 100. That is, a string 1 is less than string 2. So it returns -1 value. Okay, similarly, strcmp AC, AC. Okay, the first string also contains a characters AC, the second string also contains the characters AC. The first characters of both the strings are same and its ASCII values are same, 97, 97. Similarly, the second character of both the strings are also same, that is 99, 99. So okay, when these two becomes are equal, that is when string 1 is equal to string 2, then it returns 0 value. Okay, similarly, strcmp AD and AC. Here the first string contain AD, the second string contain AC. Here the first character compares. Okay, the first character of a first string contains a character A, that is its ASCII value is 97. Similarly, a second string also contains the first character A and its ASCII value is 97. Both are same. Then it comes to next character, that is D. Okay, but here is C. For D we have 100, for C we have 97. Then a string 1 is greater than 99. Okay, string 1 is greater than string 2. Then it returns a value 1. So for question number 102, the third option is the right option. The question number 103, the format identifier %i is also used for dash data type. We have 4 options: char, int, float and the double. A format identifier, it is also called as the character group, and the character group is defined as the combination of percentage symbol and the conversion character. Okay, %c, it is also one character group, and %d, %f, %i, %o, %s and %x, these are all character groups. A character group can be used to read the type of the values. Okay, consider here %c, it reads the single character, %d, it reads the decimal, okay, integer values, that is of decimal type. %f reads floating point numbers, %i reads decimal, octal and as well as hexadecimal numbers, %o reads only octal numbers, %s only reads strings, %x reads only hexadecimal numbers. Okay, so consider here %d and %i. Okay, these two character groups reads a decimal numbers. So both %d and %i can be used as the format identifier for integer data type. Okay, so for the question number 103, the second option is the right option, that is %d and %i can also be used as the format identifier for integer data type. The question number 104, what is the size of float data type? We have 4 options: 4 bytes, 8 bytes depending on the system compiler, and the fourth option is cannot be determined. What is data type? A data type indicates the type of the data that a variable can hold. A data type indicates the type of the data that a variable can hold. Okay, we have mainly 4 data types, that is int, float, character and the double. For integer data type, its size is 2 bytes. For float data type, its size is 4 bytes. For character data type, its size is 1 byte. For double data type, its size is 8 bytes. So from the options for float data type, the first option is the right option. The question number 105, which of the following is a ternary operator? We have 4 options. A ternary operator A programmer uses the ternary operator for the decision making in place of if and else statement. A ternary operator takes three arguments. The first is the comparison argument, the second is the result upon true comparison, the third is the result upon false comparison. Okay, consider one program, that is void main int a is equal to 10 comma b is equal to 20 c and c is equal to a less than b question mark a colon b, then printf percentage d c. Okay, then close braces. We already know that the program execution always starts from the main function. Okay, in main function we have three variables a, b, c of integer type. A is initialized to a value 10, a b variable is initialized to a value 20. Okay, here a is less than b. We know that a value is 10 is less than b, means 10 is less than 20. The comparison becomes true because 10 is always less than 20. So whatever the value present in the a variable is executed, that means it prints on the screen, that is a value 10 is printed on the screen. Instead of using small, if we use a greater symbol, okay, if we use greater symbol, then 10 is greater than 20, then it becomes a false. Okay, false comparison. Then whatever the value present in the b is executed, that is 20 is executed on the screen. Okay, so if the comparison becomes true, then a value is executed. If the comparison becomes false, then a b value is executed. Okay, in ternary operator we use question mark and colon symbol. So for question number 105, the fourth option is the right option. The question number 106, a do while loop terminates the conditional expression, returns. We have four options: 0, 1, non-zero and -1. This is the syntax for do while loop. Okay, in do while loop the statement is executed one time without checking the condition. Okay, but in while loop it firstly checks the condition. If the condition becomes true, then whatever the statements written inside the while loop, that is executed. Okay, consider a void main. We already know that a program execution starts from the main function. Okay, here a is the variable of integer type and it is initialized to a value 0. Here we are using do while loop. So in do while loop it firstly print the message, that is hello is printed on the screen. Okay, and then use plus plus a. Okay, and now so in on screen a hello message is displayed. Now we are using a pre-increment operator, that is a, so that a becomes 1. That means before a is equal to 0, now it is incremented by 1, so a becomes 1 and it checks the condition here, that is we already know the value of a, that is 1, 1 is less than 1, then the condition becomes false, then it returns a 0 value. Okay, a do while loop terminates the conditional expression and returns 0. It terminates only when a condition becomes false. Okay, and coming to while loop. In while loop, okay, in while loop, void main and then int a is equal to 0. Okay, and while a of a is less than 2. Okay, then if you write printf okay, consider we already know that the program execution always starts from main function. Here we are using while loop, but here we used do while loop. Why? Because we check the condition after the after the statement. After the statement we are checking the condition, but in while loop we check the condition before the statements. Okay, what happens is, here A is also a variable of integer type and it is initialized to a 0 value. Firstly it check the condition. Here 0 is less than 2. Okay, then the condition becomes true. Then the condition becomes true. Then a printf, that is a hello message, is displayed on the screen. Then it increments, that is a value is incremented by 1. Okay, then again it comes to this while loop only. Then it checks the condition once again, that is here a value becomes 1 because it is pre-incremented by 1. So 1 is less than 2. Okay, then also a condition becomes true. Then it will comes into the loop and it will execute the instruction, that is a hello is executed once again. Then once again a variable value is incremented, that is it becomes 2. Then it again checks the condition, 2 is less than 2. Then this condition becomes false. Then it comes out of the loop. Then that means it terminates the loop. So it only displays a hello message twice. Okay, for question number 106, the first option 0 is the right answer. The question number 109, which of the following function is more appropriate for reading in a multi-word string? We have 4 options: scanf, gets, printf and puts. A puts function prints a string of characters on a screen. Okay, a puts function prints a string of characters on a screen, but the printf function prints the values of integer and floating point numbers, integer and floating type numbers, and as well as characters. Both are output function only, but puts function prints a string of characters on a screen, but printf function prints the values of integer and floating type. Along with that, it prints a characters on a screen. Okay. Similarly, scanf and gets, these are the input functions, where gets reads a string of characters. It reads the string of characters from the keyboard. It only reads string of characters from the keyboard. But a scanf, it can read values that are of integer and floating type. Along with that, it reads characters. So from above option, the second option, okay, is the right option for question number 109. Which of the following function is more appropriate for reading in a multi-word string? That is, it reads the string of characters from the keyboard, but it also reads, but along with that it reads values of integer and floating type. So a more appropriate means gets function. The question number 110, which of the following is the correct way to declare a float pointer? We have 4 options: float PTR, float star PTR, star float PTR, and the 4th option is float PTR star. The general way of declaring a pointer variable is as follows. That is, this is the syntax of declaring a pointer variable, that is data type. This is the type of the value that a pointer will point to, okay, and followed by star symbol and pointer variable. Okay, for example, int star PTR, this points to the integer value. Similarly, car star PTR, it points to the character value. Similarly, float star PTR, it points to the float value. Okay, so from above options, the second option is the right option for question number 110. Question number 111, what is the right way to initialize an array? We have 4 options. What is meant by array? Array is a collection of similar data type. Okay, this is the syntax for initializing an array. The first one is data type. The data type indicates the type of array values that a array can hold, and array name is the name of an array. The size indicates the maximum number of elements present in an array, and element 1, element 2, these are all the array elements. Okay, when you compare this syntax to the above options, the first option is the right option. Okay, because int is the data type, num is the array name, that is name of an array, and 4 is the maximum number of elements present in an array. The array elements are 10, 20, 30, 40. These are 4 array elements. So we are using 4. If we use 5 elements, then we can use here as the 5. So for question number 111, first option is the right option. The question number 112, dash is used during the memory deallocation. We have 4 options: remove, delete, free, and terminate. As we know that array is a collection of fixed number of values. Once the size of an array is declared, then we cannot change it. Sometimes the size of an array we declared is insufficient. In order to solve these issues, we can allocate a memory manually during the runtime. This is called as the dynamic memory allocation. In dynamic memory allocation, we have mainly 4 functions, that is malloc, the second one is calloc function, the third one is free function, and the fourth one is realloc. Okay, these are the main 4 functions used in the dynamic memory allocation. Okay, the malloc, this function allocates a memory and leaves the memory uninitialized. That means before the running of program, we have fixed size of an memory. Okay, we have fixed size of memory, but during runtime we can allocate a memory by using these 2 functions. Okay, malloc, by using malloc we can allocate another memory. These are fixed one. These are fixed memory. Okay, we are allocated this memory before the runtime. Okay, we are allocated a memory before runtime. Before runtime, we allocated this memory. Okay, these are filled with numbers. These are filled with numbers. Okay, but during runtime we can allocate a memory. Okay, by using malloc and calloc. By using malloc function, we can allocate a memory. We can allocate a memory and leaves the memory uninitialized, but it is vacant. Okay, no bits are present in this memory. It only allocates the memory and leaves the memory uninitialized. But a calloc function, it also allocates the memory like malloc, but it initializes the value 0 to every memory. Okay, and by using the free function we can deallocate the memory. Okay, we can deallocate the memory. Okay, we can deallocate the memory by using the free function. Okay, and similarly by using the realloc function we can alter the memory. We can alter the memory. That means we can add the memory, or we can change the memory. We can allocate it or deallocate it. By using realloc we can alter the memory. Okay, I will tell you once again. This is the fixed memory before runtime. Okay, this memory is fixed, but we can add the memory during the runtime by using the malloc and calloc functions. By using malloc functions, we can add the memory. Okay, the malloc function allocates a memory and leaves the memory uninitialized, but it does not store any values. But a calloc function allocates a memory like malloc, but it initializes to 0. Okay, and it initializes to 0. By using free function, we can deallocate the memory, and we can remove the memory. By using realloc, we can alter the memory. So for question number 112, dash is used during the memory deallocation, that is option number 3, free function is used during the memory deallocation. By using the free function, we can deallocate, or we can erase, or we can eliminate the memory. Okay, for question number 113, the calloc function returns a storage that is initialized to. By using the calloc function, we can allocate the memory as well as we will initialize the value 0 to that memory. So the first option, that is 0, is the right answer for the question number 113. The question number 114, what is the return value of putchar function? We have 4 options. The first one is the character return, the second one is EOF if an error occurs, the third one is nothing, and the fourth one is both character return and EOF if an error occurs. We know that a putchar function, this is the function which prints the single character on the screen. Okay, and this question can be answered by taking one program, that is int main. This is the one program. We already know that a program execution always starts from main function. In main function, we have a variable called ch. This is of type character and it is initialized to a capital letter G. Okay, and this putchar function, what it does means it writes the character that is capital G to stdout, where stdout is the standard output. Its default destination is screen. Its default destination is screen. So it display a capital letter G on the screen. Okay, instead of G, okay, if you take a 10.00, okay, then it becomes wrong. Why? Because a ch is a variable of character type, but we are initializing the value that is a float type or a real type. So when it becomes false or wrong, then it returns, that is EOF, that is it returns -1 value. If it is right, then a character is returned, that is G. So from above options, the fourth option is the right option, that is both character return and EOF if an error occurs, where EOF is the end of a file and it returns value -1. Okay, why? Because here ch is a variable of character type, but we are initializing the value of real type or a float type. So it becomes wrong. When it becomes wrong, then it returns -1 value. Okay, when it is right, then it returns a character G. So right option is fourth one, that is both character return and EOF if an error occurs.